I'm grappling with a dilemma in my relationship and seeking perspective. So, I've been with my girlfriend for about 5 months now, and things have generally been going well. However, a recent incident has left me questioning the future of our relationship. Here's the scenario. One evening, while out drinking with my girlfriend, an old friend of mine showed up unexpectedly. This friend, whom I've known for about 15 years, has always had my back. He's been there for me through thick and thin, and I've always considered him a stand-up guy. Introducing him to my girlfriend seemed like a harmless gesture. Little did I know, she already knew him from her parents' tattoo and piercing shop, where he had been a customer in the past. Initially, their conversation appeared friendly, and I didn't think much of it. However, things took an unexpected turn when I briefly left the bar to buy cigarettes with another friend. Upon my return, I noticed my girlfriend seemed notably more intoxicated and was acting cold towards me. She shooed me away, insisting that she was engrossed in a discussion with my friend about his family. Despite feeling excluded, I tried to rejoin the conversation, only to be met with dismissive remarks from her. Feeling frustrated and sidelined, I retreated to the smoking area to gather my thoughts. It was during this time that I observed my girlfriend and my friend rejoining me, seemingly in good spirits. However, my discomfort grew when my girlfriend began openly admiring my friend's physique, particularly his muscular arms, given that he's a personal trainer. This blatant admiration from my girlfriend, coupled with her earlier dismissal of me, left me feeling uneasy and unsure about where I stood in our relationship. It's not just about her behavior while intoxicated, it's about the underlying dynamics and respect within our relationship. Now, I find myself at a crossroads, grappling with whether I'm overreacting or if there are deeper issues at play that need to be addressed. I value honesty and trust in a relationship, and recent events have shaken my confidence in both. Alright, let's delve deeper into this tangled web of confusion. So, there I was, out with my girlfriend and some friends for a night of drinks and good times. Little did I know, the evening was about to take a dramatic turn that would leave me questioning everything. It all started innocently enough. We were hanging out at the bar, catching up with friends, when my childhood buddy, let's call him Mike, showed up. Now, Mike and I go way back, like childhood way back. He's always been a solid dude, the kind you can rely on, you know. So, naturally, I was stoked to see him and introduced him to my girlfriend. At first, everything seemed fine. They were chatting away, reminiscing about old times, and I was glad to see them getting along. But then, things started to get a little weird. My girlfriend began making comments about Mike's physique, admiring his muscles and abs, which, I'll admit, made me feel a tad insecure given that I'm on the skinny side with abs of my own. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. As the night progressed, my girlfriend's behavior became increasingly flirtatious and downright inappropriate. She started grabbing Mike's arm, marveling at its size, and making suggestive jokes about swapping partners. And then, out of nowhere, she bit and licked his arm, leaving both Mike and me dumbfounded and uncomfortable. Naturally, I confronted her about her behavior, only to be met with defensiveness and accusations. She accused me of trying to sleep with Mike, which couldn't be further from the truth. Mike is like a brother to me, and the thought of anything romantic between us is laughable. The situation reached its peak when my girlfriend stormed off, leaving me feeling bewildered and betrayed. Later on, I learned that she had invited Mike and his friends back to our place for an after-party, without even consulting me. Thankfully, Mike had the decency to check with me first, and I declined the invitation, feeling utterly blindsided by the whole ordeal. Now, I'm left grappling with a whirlwind of emotions and questions. Was my girlfriend's behavior just a drunken mistake, or is there something more sinister at play here? And where does this leave our relationship? It's clear that we have some serious issues to address, but I'm not sure where to begin. Any advice or insights would be greatly appreciated as I navigate this rocky terrain. It all began innocuously enough, as many evenings do, with plans to unwind and socialize with friends over drinks. My girlfriend and I, along with a few acquaintances, ventured out to a local bar, eager to let loose and enjoy each other's company. Little did I know that this seemingly ordinary night out would unravel into a harrowing ordeal that would test the limits of my patience and resilience. As the night progressed, the atmosphere grew increasingly jovial, buoyed by laughter and animated conversation. Amongst our group was a familiar face, a childhood friend of mine whom I hadn't seen in years. Despite the passage of time, our camaraderie remained intact, a testament to the enduring bond forged in the crucible of youth. However, as the evening wore on, subtle shifts in dynamics began to emerge, hinting at deeper undercurrents of tension and discontent. It was during a lull in the conversation that I first noticed a change in my girlfriend's demeanor. A flicker of annoyance crossed her features as she exchanged pleasantries with my friend, her forced smile failing to conceal a hint of agitation. Sensing her discomfort, I attempted to ease the tension, diverting the conversation to more neutral topics. Yet, try as I might, my efforts proved futile, as the palpable tension between them lingered like a dark cloud overhead. As the night wore on, the atmosphere grew increasingly strained, punctuated by moments of awkward silence and terse exchanges. My attempts to diffuse the tension fell on deaf ears, as my girlfriend grew increasingly distant and aloof. Sensing that something was amiss, I made a mental note to address the issue later, when we were alone and away from prying eyes. However, fate had other plans, as events took an unexpected turn, propelling us into a downward spiral of chaos and confusion. It began innocuously enough, with my friend extending an invitation to join him and his companions at another venue. Tempted though I was to accept, I declined, opting instead to accompany my girlfriend back to her place. Little did I know that this decision would set off a chain reaction of events that would irrevocably alter the course of our relationship. As we made our way back to her apartment, tensions reached a boiling point, culminating in a heated argument that laid bare the underlying tensions and insecurities festering beneath the surface. Words were exchanged, accusations hurled like daggers, each one leaving a deeper wound than the last. In the heat of the moment, truths were revealed, secrets unearthed, as the fragile facade of our relationship crumbled before my eyes. It was in that moment of raw vulnerability that I realized the extent of the betrayal, the depth of the deceit that had been festering beneath the surface all along. She confessed to everything, her words a damning indictment of her actions, her betrayal a bitter pill I struggled to swallow. It was a sobering moment of clarity, as I came to terms with the harsh reality of our situation. In her eyes, I saw the reflection of my own disillusionment, the shattered dreams and broken promises that lay strewn in the wreckage of our once promising future. I refrained from specifying the exact reason, simply expressing my reluctance to work things out given her lack of recollection. There were tears and pleas, but when she realized I wasn't budging, her demeanor shifted to hostility. She started hurling insults, labeling me a pathetic loser, and so on. I decided to end the call. After an exhausting 11-hour shift, I wasn't up for dealing with further confrontation. Shortly after, I received a barrage of texts from her, each one more venomous than the last. She called me cowardly and accused me of lacking the courage to end things face to face. She insinuated that I was drawn to my friend's attractiveness, implying that I found him more appealing than her. It was a desperate attempt to shift the blame onto me, but I saw through her manipulation. In her messages, she attempted to undermine my self-esteem, suggesting that I was settling for less by being with her. It was a calculated attack meant to wound me, but I refused to let her toxic words affect me. Instead, I shared the screenshots of her messages with my friend, who found the situation incredulous. His response was laced with humor and disbelief, emphasizing that her behavior was unacceptable and that I deserved better. He reaffirmed his loyalty to our friendship and reassured me that he had no intention of entertaining her advances. It was a moment of clarity amidst the chaos, a reminder of the importance of surrounding oneself with supportive and trustworthy individuals. Despite the pain of the breakup, I found solace in the realization that I had dodged a bullet. Her true colors had been revealed, and I was no longer willing to subject myself to her toxicity. It was a liberating feeling, knowing that I had made the right decision for my well-being. The support and encouragement from friends and online communities further bolstered my resolve. Their words of wisdom served as a beacon of hope, guiding me through the darkness of heartbreak towards a brighter future. I knew that in time, the pain would fade, and I would emerge stronger and wiser than before. In the end, I was grateful for the experience, painful though it may have been. It taught me valuable lessons about love, trust, and self-respect. I emerged from the ordeal with a newfound sense of clarity and determination, ready to embrace whatever the future held in store. And as I reflected on the tumultuous journey that had led me to this point, I felt a sense of gratitude for the strength and resilience that had carried me through. I didn't even respond to her messages. It's kind of laughable, to be honest. She's probably strutting around like she's won some kind of victory. But the reality is, she's just making a fool of herself. She texted him, trying to act all casual, saying she'd love to catch up some more, but he just ignored her and sent me the screenshots. It's pretty tragic, really. Now onto another story. Am I the jerk for firing back at a girl who I asked out 3 times? So, here's the deal. I'm 25 years old, and I grew up in this small village along with Amy, who's also 25. We've known each other since kindergarten, went through all of school together, and then ended up in the same city for college. Amy and I used to be pretty close. We'd confide in each other, give advice, you name it. Of course, I had feelings for her, and when we were 14, I mustered up the courage to ask her out. Let's just say it didn't go well. Our friendship took a bit of a hit, but we bounced back. Fast forward to when we were 18, in our last year of high school. We were both more mature, and we spent a lot of time together, even attending high school events together. My feelings for her resurfaced, and I planned this romantic day for us. At the end of it, I asked if we could take things to the next level. She said she had to focus on studying for exams and getting ready for college. I respected her decision and moved on, but it was a bit of a blow. Then, a year later, we're both in college in a city about 2 hours away. Naturally, we often took the same bus between our hometown and the city. During one of those trips, we had a deep conversation, and she mentioned feeling frustrated about being single. At the end of the trip, I asked if she wanted to grab coffee sometime, but she turned me down, saying she was too busy with college stuff. So, yeah, I asked her out 3 times, and each time, she turned me down. It stung, sure, but I never lashed out or anything. I respected her decisions and tried to move on. But now, looking back, I can't help but wonder if maybe I should have taken the hint earlier. Was I being too persistent? Should I have backed off after the first rejection? It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. I accepted her decision and continued our friendship as if nothing had happened. Fast forward 5 years. We both graduated from college 2 years ago. I found a job in the city where we went to college, while she moved back home. Due to the difference in our locations, we gradually drifted apart. While I still considered her a friend, our communication became sporadic, not even monthly, to be honest. About 6 months ago, I fell in love with a colleague at work. Our relationship blossomed, and even though we weren't big on social media, we shared our happiness with close friends and family. Then, 2 days ago, my girlfriend asked if she could post a couple's photo of us on her Facebook. I saw no issue with it and agreed. That same night, Amy messaged me with a comment that felt like a thinly veiled insult, implying that I had moved on from her. In response, I reminded her that I had asked her out 3 times in the past. The next day, her best friend messaged me calling me a disgusting pig and accusing me of only being interested in hooking up with women. I sought outside opinions on whether I was in the wrong for my response. Many agreed that I wasn't at fault, highlighting that Amy seemed to want to keep me as a backup option. They found it unreasonable for her to expect me to linger as a plan B after rejecting me multiple times. Overall, the consensus was that prioritizing my own happiness and moving forward positively was the right course of action. It's essential to surround oneself with people and experiences that bring joy, rather than dwell on those who fail to appreciate one's worth. Reflecting on the situation, I realized that Amy's behavior may have stemmed from a sense of entitlement or insecurity. Despite her rejection of my advances in the past, she seemed to resent my happiness in my current relationship. It's possible that seeing me move on made her feel overlooked or unimportant, leading to her passive-aggressive comments. While I empathize with her feelings, I cannot allow her bitterness to dictate my life choices. I am committed to nurturing healthy relationships and fostering positivity in my life. Ending the engagement was a difficult decision, but ultimately, It was necessary for my well-being and personal growth. Moving forward, I will continue to prioritize honesty and communication in my relationships. I am grateful for the support of my friends and family during this challenging time. Though it may be painful, I believe that embracing change and staying true to myself will lead to greater happiness in the long run. Upon my return from a business trip last week, I was met with a devastating sight. My car's front bumper was crumpled and destroyed. Shocked and dismayed, I immediately sought answers from my fiancée, only to learn that she had allowed her brother to borrow the car while I was away. In a moment of recklessness, her brother had managed to crash it into a pillar, leaving behind a trail of damage and shattered trust. The car in question wasn't just any vehicle. It held profound sentimental value to me. It was a cherished gift from my father, given to me upon my graduation, symbolizing not only financial worth but also a deep emotional connection. To see it damaged in such a manner was akin to watching a part of my history crumble before my eyes. In confronting my fiancé about the incident, I hoped to find solace or at least an ounce of understanding. Instead, I was met with a dismissive attitude and a litany of excuses. She argued that her brother, who had been facing financial hardships since losing his job due to the pandemic, couldn't possibly afford the repair costs. While I empathized with his situation, I couldn't shake off the feeling of betrayal and disappointment. What troubled me most was not the monetary aspect, but rather the breach of trust and lack of consideration for my feelings. It was a stark reminder of how fragile relationships could be, especially when tested by unforeseen circumstances. Could I entrust my future to someone who seemed to prioritize familial ties over our partnership? As I grappled with these thoughts, I felt a surge of frustration and helplessness. I couldn't simply brush off this incident as a mere accident. It spoke volumes about the dynamics of our relationship and the level of respect and consideration present, or rather, lacking. In a moment of desperation, I reached out to her brother, making it abundantly clear that he bore responsibility for the damages incurred. While I loathed the idea of involving legalities and threats, I felt compelled to assert my rights and demand accountability. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty, the prospect of our impending wedding loomed ominously. Could I, in good conscience, commit to a lifetime partnership with someone who had shown such disregard for my possessions and feelings? The very foundation of our relationship felt shaky, teetering on the brink of collapse. Seeking solace and guidance, I turned to the wisdom of others, whose perspectives and insights offered a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. Some urged me to explore legal avenues and hold her brother accountable, while others suggested postponing or even canceling the wedding until the situation was resolved. Each comment served as a reminder of the gravity of the situation and the importance of safeguarding my well-being. In the end, this unfortunate incident served as a sobering wake-up call, prompting me to reevaluate the dynamics of our relationship and the core values upon which it was built. Trust, respect, and mutual understanding, these were the cornerstones of a successful partnership, and it was clear that ours was in dire need of repair. As I navigated through the storm of emotions and uncertainties, one thing remained abundantly clear: the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but I was determined to emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient.